This is a Dren Police's production.
Last rolling check. Still rolling. Yo, what's up? What's up? It's your boy Dren Police on the West Coast. Y'all know I've been doing my vlogging and interviewing lately. Y'all know what's going on. Holla at the kid. So yeah, we got a special guest today, man. My homeboy Big Run. He's from Arkansas. Lots of y'all that don't know I'm from Arkansas, and we're very humble people when we go other places. And my homeboy ended up, he's from Arkansas, by the way of Gary, Indiana. But we're gonna let him tell that story.
Yeah, what's going on?
It's good. It's good. It's your first podcast, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. How's it sound? The mic sound good, don't it?
Sounds great to me.
Yeah. What's up? So we gonna, without wasting any time, man. I'm gonna let you tell your story how you got to LA, but let's go back to your beginning. Like, where were you born at?
At Gary, Indiana. It's a suburb right outside of Chicago, about 20-something miles away.
Okay.
It's on the Indiana border. I mean, it's in Indiana, but it's still a suburb of Chicago.
Okay. So how was it like growing up in that area?
Well, when I lived there, it was a very good place to be, in my opinion. I liked it. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way. Now it's one of the worst places to live. It's basically looks like somebody dropped a bomb on the place. But back when I was growing up, it was totally different.
Yeah. Well, why do you, so be getting more specific, why do you say it's like a bomb has been dropped on the place?
Well,
meaning,
if you look at all the rundown houses,
okay,
the neighborhoods are just damaged. There's gang activity everywhere. Most of the businesses are closed up and moved away. And the population has diminished or dwindled down to half of what it used to be. At one time, the population was close to 175, maybe thousand more, 75,000 people.
Yeah.
Now it's around 80,000.
Wow.
The steel industry, it was just a steel town. It was founded by Albert Gary, I believe that was the name of the guy who founded it.
Okay.
And
hence the name Gary, Indiana.
Yes, that's where the name came from, Gary.
Okay. So, when did you leave Gary, Indiana?
Well, my parents moved away in the 70s to Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Okay.
My father's roots were in Arkansas. He was born in Girton. He lived in Arkadelphia for a while, and then he moved to Little Rock, where he met my mother. She originally was from Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
And they lived there for many years, and then they decided to move to Chicago, and from there they moved to nearby Gary.
Okay. Huh.
And then they decided to move to Hot Springs. For whatever reason, to this day, it remains a mystery to me.
Huh. Interesting story.
And then I spent the majority of the rest of my childhood in Hot Springs. Stayed there for 36 years, I believe it was.
Okay.
And I finally moved away from there and moved to Atlanta, GA, and stayed there for about 10 years and moved here to California.
So to the audience, here's a very compelling story. And I told Ron before the interview, if I asked him anything that he doesn't answer, by all means, don't answer it. So Ron, you want to go by Ron or Ronald? Like, just so people know, Ronald, Ron, doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter.
All right, cool. So I know about you how you grew up as a child, but the audience doesn't know. Would you care to share how your childhood was growing up? You can go back as further as you want, as you're comfortable with, because I know you had a, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to tell you a story because here's the thing. It's one thing is educating, like each one teach one. It might be somebody else who went through what you went through, like they might help them out. You know what I'm saying? So never to exploit your situation. I know you had a rough childhood, but if you care to share it, maybe there's somebody else that might want to hear your story, be like, wow, for us, like, mental abuse and stuff like that. So tell us about your childhood.
Well, my parents were extremely strict. There was many things that I wasn't allowed to do, things that would earn me a beat down or whipping, the way you would call it. Things that would seem trivial to most people were major thing to my parents. I wasn't allowed to play with the other kids when I was going to school, at least not after school. I had to be home at a certain time. I had a 15-minute, I believe, time limit from the time school let out to the time I had to be home.
Yeah.
Behind that, let the pain begin. And it wasn't a mere scolding. It was like whippings, switches, extension cords, whatever they could find at the time. Things such as things like leaving the water running in the sink.
Petty stuff, huh?
Petty stuff. I mean, stuff that
and you would get beat down for that.
Today, we would consider that child abuse, but back then it was considered just normal discipline.
Yeah. Was that in the, when you was growing up, was that in the early 80s? I'm thinking you're talking about early 80s?
No, that was the 70s.
70s, okay.
It was about the 80s I had gotten out on my own and got away from them.
Damn. And why do you think they felt the need to discipline you that extreme? Was it something you did, or were you kind of those kids don't want to listen, or was something you think? Did you provoke them, or do you think that's just their way of disciplining people, or why do you think they discipline you to that extreme?
Well, I'm not gonna say that I didn't deserve some of those whippings. But every kid's done something where they should be disciplined for. But some of that stuff was just out of pocket, just totally retarded, ridiculous. There was no need for it. And subtle little things other kids picked up on, and I got picked on a lot when I was in class in school. My hairstyle at that time, most of the kids were able to grow big afros out to here.
Yeah.
And my hair was about the same length as you see it today. Maybe a little shorter.
So your parents wouldn't even let you rock an afro?
No.
Wow.
No. I mean, when hair get a little longer, it's time to go to the barber shop. And kids back in those days, what they would do is they would come up behind you when you wasn't looking, upside your head, and then there'll be a fight. And my parents said, well, why are you fighting? I didn't send you to school to fight. I sent you to school to learn. Well, learn what? What are you sending me to school to learn? My parents never set any career goals for me. I just want you to go to school to learn. To learn what? Reading. In their mind, learning was reading, writing, and old school term for mathematics, it was arithmetic. That was it. Reading, writing, arithmetic. So I'm like, well, I want you to be somebody. Well, what do you want me to be? You never set any goals for me, so I had no ambition or drive to be, as they say, somebody, because I knew that whatever career path I decide, they were going to be against it. If I tell you that the sun is shining, they gonna go out there and say it's cloudy. And if you talk back to them, well, there you go again.
So why do you think that's so? I'm trying to. Why would parents treat a child like that? Like, give me try to make some sense. Like,
Well, you got to realize my parents grew up during the Great Depression,
okay,
and that's the way they were trained or disciplined back in their days when they were kids.
okay.
It's a totally different way children of today. Today, you look at a kid hard, and the cops will roll up on you and put the clacks on you to take you to jail for child abuse.
Yeah.
But back then, it wasn't getting away from that. And them whippings, well, they say they were kind of brutal. And it's like, how long a whipping lasted? Let me put it this way. You take a turkey and you put it in the oven. By the time it's golden brown, your ass was golden brown.
Hey, that's crucial, man. All right, after that, I know your story, but I know this is for the people that don't know your story. So, what happened with your parents? Ultimately, you all parted ways, and how did that happen?
Well, I took care of my parents when they got old. I was their main caregiver for them, basically. So I took care of them in my adult. When I reached
After
adulthood.
they treated you that way, you still took care of them till they got old.
Well, don't get me wrong. There was many times when I thought about, giving them a receipt for all the stuff they did for me. When I wanted to, I remember when I wanted to play football, and my parents said no. They didn't want me to have any kind of eye contact with the kids at school. Outside of school hours, you were home. And I remember even a field trip, all my father had to do was sign a permission slip for me to go to on a class field trip to a place called Blanchard Springs. Our school was going to supply transportation, meal, everything. And on top of that, right after that, the teacher was going to give a pop quiz on what the kids, learn during the class trip. My parents, no, wouldn't go for it. Wouldn't let me, wouldn't sign it. So I had to stay in study hall. And the teacher at that time gave me a 0 on that day.
Wow.
Because I couldn't tell them about Blanchard Springs. I didn't get to go. So my parents found out that I got a downgrade in my grades.
Yeah.
Want to know why? All you had to do was sign the papers.
Yeah.
At that time, field trips were common.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do in schools now, but back then it was normal for the class to take a field trip. My parents had the idea. You sat behind that desk. You had a pad or notebook, paper.
Yeah.
And you wrote whatever it is you wrote. And like I said, I took care of my parents when they were in old age. And like I said, I thought about all those times.
Yeah.
But I'm not that type of person. So I went ahead and I took care of them till both of them passed away. My father died in 1992. My mother died in 99. And then that was about the time when I decided I'm going to start saving up whatever money I can to get out of Arkansas. Because Arkansas was not conducive to a person that's trying to progress.
Yeah.
Arkansas is not a progressive state, in my opinion.
How long did you live in Arkansas?
36 years. 36
years. So most of your life you lived in Arkansas.
Now, most people think, they have fond memories of Arkansas. Me?
Yeah.
No. I did not have fond memories of that place.
Well, so from Arkansas, what made you move to Georgia? And I'm not trying to spoil the story for the people. It's hard for me to be the narrator because I already know his story, but I want the audience, so I don't want to sound redundant. So you went from Arkansas. Later on, you moved to Georgia, and let the audience know how did you end up in Georgia.
Well, basically, I was trying to be desperate to move anywhere out of the state of Arkansas. It just happened that I went on a little trip with a friend of mine and visited the Atlanta area, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I saw that, and that place seemed like black people were, or African Americans, if you want to call them, they were doing things there. And in Hot Springs, we were stagnant. We were stuck in service-oriented jobs where there was no real estate agents. There was no car salesmen.
Yeah.
There were no mechanics that I could speak of, unless one that's a shade tree mechanic. But
Yeah.
no doctors, no lawyers. Everything was white, 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 white. And you might have one Hispanic person. Very few Hispanic people live there too. So I decided, I'm gonna get out, try to get Georgia a try.
So it was it was not just.
Well, I did a little research,
yeah.
but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And I saw that black people could be anything they wanted to be.
That's kind of what Georgia represents, like.
And, Atlanta represents sort of a mecca for African American people in the United States. But however, it's a facade. It's all a facade. So I stayed there for about 10 years, and I ended up having some financial setbacks, and I ended up pretty much losing everything that I owned. So I ended up moving here to California, and I had to go through a period of, shall we say, adjustment. So, and it was a pretty difficult adjustment, but I survived.
So you had some financial setbacks in Georgia. Elaborate a little bit more about that.
Well, I'd rather not get into the nasty details of what happened. Let's just say that things didn't work out financially for me, and I ended up pretty much losing all that I had worked hard to achieve.
Yeah.
And I had nowhere to go. And on the recommendation of a friend, he suggested I move to California.
Okay.
And that's when I ended up here.
So how was so from when you left Georgia, you came to California? What was the experience of getting here? What was that experience like? Just getting from point A to point B, just getting to LA. We ain't even talking about housing or none of that. Just from point A to point B. Tell me about that experience.
Oh, it was a Greyhound bus. I mean, that was a long ride. Long ride on a Greyhound bus. Stopping off every once in a while to stretch your legs and then back at it again. So it was pretty tiring.
Yeah.
In fact, the crazy thing about it is they repoed my truck the very day. They put a boot on my truck the very day that I pulled into the bus station just to ask a question. They didn't repo it so much as they just put a boot on it in the parking lot. Soon as I got out of the truck, walked up to ask the guy at the ticket counter what's going on, they put a boot on my truck. It's like they was sitting there waiting for me to get out of the truck. And then that's when they slapped that boot on. And
you couldn't even get in the bus station, Greyhound station good.
we didn't get in the Greyhound bus station. I said, I knew right then That was my wake up call. Get up out of here.
Yeah. It's also, I'm trying not to be the spoiler, but I'm a kind of a part of this story too. I'm talking to the audience right now. So this is where I jump into the story. He just said how he came to LA. I'm the one that picked the same Greyhound bus he's talking about. I picked him up at the Greyhound station. So that said, that night when you touched down in LA and your feet was on solid ground and you knew at that point, this is where I'm at. What was going through your mind that night, man? The night you first get off that Greyhound bus and your feet hit the soil of California. What was on your mind, man?
Well, it was a relief to get out of where I was, but at the same time, it's kind of like the feeling a deer probably has when he's looking at the headlights of a car coming in. What is going on here?
Yeah.
Because L.A. is a total different animal to any other place I've been to.
Why is that? So people it's a lot of people that never been to L.A. before. I'm talking about, you got people in Wisconsin that'll never see. Talk to these people. Like, people in L.A. know what it is, right?
Yeah.
To the little white kid in Idaho right now that's thinking about moving to Los Angeles, what would be your message to them?
Well, if you're thinking that LA is all glitz, glamour, and Hollywood is all this, and Disneyland, and all these other things that you hearing about, get that out of your mind. It's gonna be, how we say it, it's gonna be an eye opener. It ain't gonna be what you want it to be. It ain't what you think. You know.
And why is that? I like it. Like, if you say something, I like to challenge you, right? Mm-hmm. If you can't just say, well, it's bad. Why is it bad? Like, what do you think? What's wrong with LA that it's not a glitz and glamour? What's going on?
The first thing you're gonna see when you come out is you're gonna find out what homelessness is all about. Homelessness is a major issue here in Southern California. Yeah. Especially downtown area. Oh, yeah. Downtown area around Skid Row. Ooh. That's the worst place. That it's like the devil took a big old dump right in the middle of downtown LA. And there it is. Man.
I don't even know where to begin, even start like the Skid Row conversation.
Remember, you drove me through that area.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what in the hell is going on here? Tents everywhere. Yeah. You seen the zombie movies, the zombie apocalypse? It's a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's just
except there's no camera saying cut. It's the real thing. The zombie apocalypse is real.
Yeah, man. That's a lot of people like that. That's not from Cali. They come out and they see that. Like, I drop people down. And it's like, hey, just check it out. Mm-hmm. This is real. They're like, and they always be like, why are these people outside? Mm-hmm. I'm like, they live outside, and they're like, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm. That's what they do. They live outside. They urinate out on the street. They defecate on the street. Everything they do. And then right next to where they've done their business, they'll set up a barbecue grill. Start cooking
I tell you what.
Cooking their food.
So that's one side of LA. The other side of LA.
No.
Tell it. This for people that's never been. People in LA already know what's up. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's one side he just described, and everything said is real. Now the other side of LA where people living good, out in the burbs.
Oh, places like around 3rd Street, Promenade. Places like Santa Monica, Beverly Hills. And, you've seen it.
Yeah. It's good and the bad. It's
good and bad.
Because I want to make sure if we talk about the bad, I also want to make sure I talk about the good. It is a lot of good in LA. Mm-hmm. Now, homelessness off the hook, yeah. Check. Mm-hmm. Is people out living good still? Yeah, I know. It's like people done gave up on California. Like
Right.
California gonna come back. You know, right now, this is my personal experience. Somebody, if you want to move to California right now, might not be the right time. Let it kind of everybody air out a little bit because Cali's been through some shit. You know.
For one to stand, they're trying to clean the place up a little bit because they're going to wanting to host the Olympics once again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you can't.
there's
host
going to
the
be some
Olympics.
major. There's going to be some
Yeah.
major changes in the area.
Yeah.
Now, Southern California has some beautiful landscape, beautiful areas, especially like Dana Point, San Clemente, along the coast of Malibu,
Yeah.
places like that.
Yeah.
I've been to all those different places,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. Expensive, but beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you've been through quite a bit to get where you at. You know what I'm saying? You out on the coast now, chilling. You know what I'm saying? Is there anywhere, considering everything you've been through in LA, I mean, from Arkansas, from Indiana, Arkansas, Georgia, LA, is there anywhere else in the world you would rather live than right here on the West Coast?
Not hardly. I mean, I'm only a mile from the beach.
Yeah.
It's clean. It's quiet. Why would you want to live in
Anywhere else?
somewhere else?
Okay.
Arkansas is a landlocked state. Yes, they got a lot of lakes, but most of the lakes are private. There's no public access.
Yeah.
Everything is private. You have to know someone who owns property for you to even access the area.
Yeah.
Here, public beaches,
Yeah.
Santa Monica, the pier. They got all kinds of shops
Yeah.
that you can go to, surf shops and hotels. Just
Yeah.
whatever you want is here.
Yeah. So next question. All right. So throughout your journey through life, from Gary, Indiana, all the way to Los Angeles, right? What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned through your journey through life? Because I mean, and to the audience, we're not even touching on half of what he's been through. This is just we might have to do a part 2 to really go into detail. But my family been through some stuff. Like we just touching on it. But what would you say your biggest lesson learned from Indiana to now about life in general, about people, like what do you feel like your purpose is after all the stuff you've been through? Why did you go through that to be where you are now? Like, what do you think your purpose is, and why do you think you had to go through all this stuff? Like, what's without getting into religion, why do you think God put you on this planet? Maybe like spreading your story right now, or what do you think your purpose is?
Well, I mean, one thing you have to learn is, despite what some people might say that people are the same everywhere, they're not. That's one of the biggest lies you've ever been told, that people are the same. That there's other people out there besides you.
Yeah.
There's so much diversity here. It's not just the black culture or the white culture. There's so many different ethnic groups here.
Yeah.
And they all join together. And sometimes it takes a tragedy, but they all come together. So, you know.
So going back to the question, what do you think your purpose is? As in Ronald Obie. Like I feel like I said, we don't need to go. I'm not trying to get into religion, but I think God has a purpose for every single person on this earth. I just believe that everybody is here for something. I think I was here to do what we're doing right now, help people spread their message. That's the reason I'm doing this, right? I think my purpose is to get people's. What do you think your purpose is, or because I don't think God makes put people here just to exist.
Yes.
Everybody has a job. Like, you see ants in the anthill, they just moving, right? Like, they rolling. Like, I think we're the same way. I think we're resistant to it. But if you could just, and if you can see, you say, I plead the fifth on it, whatever,
Well, all I can tell you is all of us have an obligation to help one another.
Okay.
So we may not want to, but our job basically is to help one another to coexist here on Earth.
Yeah.
This planet is not just yours. This Earth is not just yours. You have to have an open mind. There's so many people who want things their way or the highway, and that causes a lot of the friction. In fact, 90% of the friction that goes on that we see is because people want it their way.
Yeah.
They don't want to change or progress. They think everybody should be like the same.
Yeah.
You know,
People not entitled to their own opinion.
no.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe the way they believe, not only did they not want anything to do with you,
It's cancel culture.
but they have a violent way of showing it.
Yeah, it's a cancel culture. Cancel culture. You do
Right.
one thing wrong, and there it is. Cancel culture.
I'm pretty sure people are probably going to be upset with some of the things I said about Hot Springs or some of the things I said about Skid Row.
Yeah.
You know, to those people, I really don't care. That's my opinion, and that's what I believe.
Yeah. You didn't say nothing disrespectful. You
Yeah.
know, just like, hey, you know, it's all good.
That's just my phone.
We all good. We'll catch it. We'll catch it. We keep rolling. We keep rolling. Y'all see how we real? We keep it. His phone ringing in the back. We'll keep it rolling. But outside of that, we're gonna okay. This interview been 37. We're probably in it about. Remember, I thought about 40, about 45 minutes. So we just zoom into the present. Let's wrap it up. Okay, so who is Ron after all the stuff we talked about earlier? Who are you now? Like, what are your plans for the future? Like, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? And how are you gonna make that happen?
Well, I really can't elaborate on that.
Yeah. In a perfect world, to where would you be 10 years now? If you could just, if you had, remember, I Dream of Jeannie, and we used to talk about the dude.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name? The Dallas dude.
Larry Hagman.
Larry Hagman. Y'all, hey, he took. So y'all know, remember watch that show, Dallas? He used the guy from I Dream of Jeannie.
Plays,
If you had a
JR.
genie, had a genie, it's just, and she be like, it's just whatever you want. What would that be? Like right now, if your life was perfect, how describe your perfect life if you could make it perfect if you had a genie?
Well, if I had a genie, the first thing I'd do is I'd be able to walk. Currently had a debilitating disease where it took away my ability to walk. I have to use crutches or a wheelchair. So that would change. Another thing is I would definitely have me a nice big house over on the beach. You know, not many people can say that. And I can't say that for myself. And you know, everybody talks about money. Money can't buy you happiness. That's true, but money takes care of a lot of problems. You know, and that's what's the main issue that faces everybody is you don't have enough money to take care of the things you need. You need food, you need clothing, you need shelter. But that's not the only things you need around here. You need transportation.
Yeah.
And then you need, unfortunately, you need the internet too. So those are things that you have to have.
A lot of stuff we gotta have just to get what you need.
Just to get to things, get to where
Things
you
you
want to
have
go.
to have to get what you need. Basic stuff, internet. Like think about
Right.
it. If you have internet, you can't. You have a phone.
Right. Without a phone, without the internet, what can you do? I mean,
That's just
you
basic
can't even
stuff.
fill out application for a job. You have to have transportation because bus is not going to take you everywhere you need to go.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's something to give people something to think about. Because here's the thing, like we're saying, to get what you need, is certain things you already got to have in place. Like people say, "Oh, go apply for a job." Like you ain't got a car. to go, you got to take public transportation, which might be 3-4 hour trek just to go apply for a job. All that stuff, people don't think about that. They just like, get a job, man. Do something with yourself.
Okay, getting a job. Here's another situation. Get a job. The jobs that are readily available are low-paying jobs. And they said, well, you need to get an education. If you want to get paid better, you got to get an education. That's easier said than done. Getting an education. That costs money.
And time.
Again, you need money.
Right? And do you need that time to make the money? Because you
need time to make the money.
So
if you working a full-time job, you don't really have that much time to go out and do all this other stuff because you're tired. You got to have money. Again, I know people think I'm harping on money, but money is the engine that drives our society. And
you can't deny that.
You can't focus on it 24 hours a day, but it is a very important part that you need in order to survive.
So people say money can't buy you happiness.
But you can rent it.
You can rent happiness.
You can rent happiness with the option to buy.
Or the option to buy. We want to go down that road. I got all kind of jokes on that. But anyway, that pretty much sums up. I'm glad you guys tapped in. But yeah, my family's cool. I was honored to interview him. We from Arkansas, so you know what I'm saying. It was not even like it's like an impromptu thing. I just hit him up yesterday. Yo, let's do an interview. Boom, he just pulled up. So, hey, click that like button below if y'all like this interview. If y'all didn't like it, click the unlike. Well, whatever. We here being real. So run. If you see anybody below, clicking that thumbs down on this, come put it on YouTube. You don't put it on YouTube. Them the people that don't like you.
I need haters.
You don't need haters.
Haters is what make you let you know that you're on the right path.
So yeah, all the people. But yeah, we are in the West Coast. It's an honor. Ronald Obie, good interview, man. I hope that this don't be the last one. So, hey, everybody comment below. If y'all want to see him back for part 2, it's a whole lot more to this story. We just kept it simple. This is first interview, and you know what I'm saying? We're trying to break the ice. But if y'all want to see him back, comment below. I want to see him back. And if y'all say that, we'll bring him back. Everybody downtown LA, what's up? Y'all support your boy. You know what I'm saying? He's out here doing good on the coast. Holla at your boy, Dre. Khaleesi's Run. Hey, you got the mic last, man. Just sign us out. Anything you want them to know about you, websites, anything what you got going on. Hey, you get to close it out.
My name is Ronald Obie, and this is my story. Like, share, and subscribe.
Hey, perfect. That's a wrap. Oh, shit. What just happened? It was literally a wrap.
This is a Khaleesi's production.